I'm here with Dave Tinnon. This is number 4 out of 7. We are now in Pasteur Street on Lee Tu Trong, which I get very confused between Le Tanton and Lee Tu Trong.
We're right by Ben Thanh Market.
We're right by Ben Thanh Market.
It's a great location.
And Dave is a craft beer aficionado, I would say. Tell us a bit about yourself, Dave.
I like beer.
You sound like Brett Kavanaugh.
I drank beer with my friends. Almost everyone did. Sometimes I had too many beers. Sometimes others did. I liked beer. I still like beer. But I did not drink beer to the point of blacking out.
Kavanaugh?
Oh, God. No.
I like beer. I like beer.
That's not the vibe I'm going for. That's not the vibe I'm going for. I've worked in the food and beverage industry for a long time. I used to work at Beercraft. Currently, I'm helping Pizza 4Ps streamline their beverage operations. Yeah.
Tell us something more sexy than streamline their beverage operations.
Nah, that's the job. That's it. There's nothing sexy about it. But I really enjoy it, trying to help the operation elevate the whole thing, you know?
So we're going to 7 craft beer bars today that I spoke about on the podcast. And I'm going to do another one about more craft beer bars because I didn't cover them all. So the 7 were Two Guys Belgian Fries in Thanh My Loi because it's my local. Then we went to Mixtape. Then we went to Brick and Barrel. Now we're at Pasteur Street. We're then going to do Heart of Darkness, Seven Bridges, and then we're going to finish at Malt. What do you think? Tell us about craft beer in Saigon, because I talked about how for me we got here 8 years ago and it was just blossoming, and then it kind of like grew really quickly and then plateaued, and it's not really grown from there. But I don't think it's so different. Like, we lived in Wellington in New Zealand and it was really similar. There was this like massive spike in craft beer bars and then it just plateaued and there was not much more. What do you think about craft beer in Saigon or in Vietnam?
I mean, I was kind of here right, not at the very beginning, but at the beginning of the so-called boom, I guess.
Yeah.
I helped the Beercraft guys start their flagship bar. We started out with 30 taps only, and then upgrade only. Well, we upgrade after a few months. We upgraded to 50, and I was in charge. I helped Mark and Tim do that whole thing.
Well, we talked about before with Misha when he was first here. Like, when he found Heineken on draft, it was a godsend. It was like, oh my god, Heineken on draft. So you're being like almost, I don't mean this rudely, you're being like dismissive, like, oh, we had 30 or 50 beers, but that shows how incredible the beer scene is and was and is in Saigon and in Vietnam, that you had 30 taps, then went to 50 taps, all Vietnam beers.
And we were having trouble, keeping it fair for everyone, trying to make sure that everyone was equally represented. It wasn't a problem to fill the 50 taps. It was a problem to make sure that it was fairly filled, And that I went from being bar manager there to being basically the beverage manager of the whole restaurant group. And that's now kind of what I'm doing for Pizza 4Ps, but a little bit more. I mean, it's not just about alcohol at 4Ps. It's about the whole. We do a lot of fruit juice. We do like our own kombucha, stuff like that.
Well, it's something we do need to do a future episode and talk about Pizza 4Ps because it's Japanese pizza in Vietnam, now worldwide.
I don't know if I would be the best person to represent the company on that one, just because I've only been with them for a little over a year.
I could talk about it all by myself.
Sure.
Good. But Who Wants a Pizza episode, Adri says pizza.
I love it.
I did ask a question before you arrived.
Yeah.
If you could only eat one food for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Probably Italian food, because that's what I grew up eating. My mom is
But one specific food. So for me, it would be pizza. Like breakfast, lunch, dinner. I could eat pizza. I know it's not the healthiest, but I could eat it all day, every day.
Yeah.
One dish. If you could only eat one dish for the rest of your life, what would it be?
That's a tough question.
Yeah.
I don't know. If I ate pizza every day even like when I was working fully in operations at 4Ps, I was eating pizza every day, and I got sick of it. I don't know. Does beer count as a food?
If you wanted to. I remember I asked this question at Adri's 40th last year, and everybody was like, I asked everyone else, if Adri could only eat one food, what would it be? And most people are like, oh, she'd say salad. And then she's like, no, definitely burritos.
Burritos would be a good shout because you got your breakfast burritos, then you could do like a spicy chicken burrito for lunch, and then like you could do a vegetarian burrito. Yeah. Burritos are a really good shout. Actually, you know what? I'd take it back. I would not even say burritos. I would say tacos. Because that's fair. I spent a little bit of time in Mexico City and in Cozumel, and I think I ate tacos like twice a day while I was living there. So tacos would probably be my go-to.
Nice. All right, sweet. All right, Dave, thank you so much for being on this special episode of the Vietnam podcast.
Thanks for having me on your little pub crawl. I'm going to the cocktail fest with Erica. So, and actually, I've got a call coming in from work, so I've got to take that.
Well, there you go. All right, take it easy. Thank you. We're now going to hand over to Misha Smith. I was hanging out with Misha on Monday night. We hang out quite often, and one of the proudest moments of my life was when I was very, very drunk. I'd had quite a few cocktails, and Misha was like, "Man, you don't look drunk at all." That to me is one of the proudest moments of my life.
Yeah, you mentioned how drunk you were, and I honestly said to you that you seemed like you were holding it together pretty well. You didn't come off as like crazy drunk, for sure. Like, I mean, you'd obviously had a few drinks. The only thing that tipped you off about how drunk you were is how often you interrupted me in the flow of the conversation. But other than that, like you weren't like slurring your words. We were having a conversation. It was fine.
I'm a pretty good drunk, but we'll test that tonight though, because we're only on stop 4 of 7. What's been your favorite beers so far on our Ho Chi Minh beer crawl?
We're here at my old stomping grounds, Pasteur Street Brewing Company, Li Tu Trong, and I'm having a Pomelo IPA, and that was always my favorite beer when I worked at Pasteur Street, and it's still one of my favorite beers in Vietnam and in my life.
Not Jasmine IPA, because Pomelo is probably my favorite. I've told you before. But I always thought Jasmine was like your.
No, the Jasmine was the workhorse. That's the one that was by far our best-selling flagship beer. But for me personally, the Pomelo IPA was always my favorite. I love I've had like grapefruit and Pomelo IPAs from other breweries. Yeah. Just the way the citrus from the grapefruit plays with the hops. It's just chef's kiss. Yeah, it's so good.
Well, I've told you this before. I think my favorite Pasteur Street beer of all time, which they never make anymore, is the Mango Lager. Or not the Mango Lager, the Mango IPA. And why don't they make that?
Mangoes are very expensive.
You mangoes. You. Be less expensive, and then I could enjoy your delicious beer.
Yeah. No, whenever we used to make a mango beer, it was like, oh, this tastes delicious. And then we costed it out. It was like, oh, shit, we have to charge a lot for this just to make any money on it at all. So it's, at the end of the day, it's a business. Yeah. It has to make money. It has to make sense. Like, everyone wants to innovate and be creative and do different things, but you can't take a loss on a beer because it's a company and you have bosses and shareholders and CFOs. Shout out to Man Tang.
And I can't believe we're only at bar number 4. What's number 5?
Next is down the street, same street, Li Tu Trom, Heart of Darkness Brewing Company.
All right, we'll see you at Heart of Darkness.
And I feel like that's kind of like 4. We're only just over half done. But I feel like once we bank 5, then it's kind of a no-brainer to like only 2 more after that. We got it. So yeah, the next one is the key is not the right. Heart of Darkness is the hinge of this pub crawl, and once we pass through the hinge, then it's kind of smooth sailing from there on out. In my professional, personal opinion.
I'm looking forward to getting to Malt. It's one of my favorite bars, as I talked about on the original podcast. It's the OG craft beer bar for me.
Yeah, so let's talk about that more when we get there. But yeah,
when we get there.
Obviously, Malt was one of my. It still is one of my favorite bars. I don't go nearly as often as I used to. But yeah, no. When I used to fly back into Saigon, I used to go from the airport straight to Malt, and it was like you always go back to the one you love, like, you know, Home Sweet Home. Like there's a lot of reasons I love that bar. Let's save that for when we get there and really dig into that, because it's a special place in Saigon, and I am kind of sad that I don't go there as often as I used to, but obviously that's my own choice.
I was there last year for their birthday party, which I think I said on the podcast I thought was their 10th birthday party, but I may be wrong because you think it's not been open for 10 years. Maybe it was their 8th birthday party, but I know I was there for their birthday party. AJ was busy that night, so I was by myself. And I got chatting to these two tourists who were from Switzerland, and it just was the best experience because they were loving it and they didn't know anything about it. And I was like, oh yeah, no, this place has been here for so long, has so many different beers from all over Vietnam. Like, this is a cool place, and it was cool to be able to chat to tourists about it as well.
They were like kind of pioneers of being a craft beer bar that didn't make their own beers. Like they opened to serve Vietnamese craft beers from other breweries and just be a bar. And
so let's finish our free water, because it's free water here at Pasteur, which, as it should be at every single bar that sells alcohol, you should have free water. And then we're going to finish our beers, and then we're going to head off to Heart of Darkness. Sounds pretty good. All right, let's go.
Just to sign off here, in the immortal words of Tom Brady, let's fucking go.
Bro, fuck